My bad, you guys. I had to take a very important phone call to. I had to take a very important phone call to grow the squad. Oh, I didn't. I forgot to turn my. Hold on. I forgot to turn my display capture on. Whoa. Give me a second, you guys. I gotta turn my. Display, audio input, image, video capture device. Oh, come on. FaceTime HD camera. Okay, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. What up? Nice to see you guys. Welcome back. Welcome to the squad. Hello, I am your host, Keith, your man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and hopefully, if you don't get anything at all, a bit of entertainment. Sorry, I know I said I would go live at 6, but I had a super important call with a homie by the name of Christian, who has a YouTube channel and he's on it. I found his stuff because of what was it? A bunch of the stuff on Hermetics was super dope, and he does the kybalion too. Does Hermetics? I think he does tablets, but he's got to in some sense if he's covering those things. Kalis, how's it going? Has the rum gotten to you yet? I mean, has the molasses tincture gotten to you yet? Agent Smith, nice to see you. Salavi, nice to see you. All is functional. We are live proper. Let me just let everyone know that we're live proper on the community board. We are live. 1, 2, 3 exclamation points. Signed Keith, comma M-O capital L. Maybe take your shoes off. But yeah, on a serious note, tonight we're going to be talking about something real useful, not too sexy. It's not the sexiest conversation to have as far as spirituality goes. There's no aliens, there's no demons, there's no sex. There's no sex with aliens and or demons. So if all of you log out at this very moment in time, I won't blame you. However, if you do want to find out some cool stuff,
thank you, Bird.
Pull from the Hermetic text, the kybalion, the one and only kybalion, 3 initiates. You have found yourself in the right place, because we're going to talk about the law of cause and effect, which cause and effect is it's a useful tool for orienting your perspective. So I'll try to give you guys a theme for the video. I'll try to give you a theme. I'll give you the introduction paragraph with a theme inside of it to kind of give you a guide point. We'll have some supporting paragraphs, maybe some citations, and then we'll wrap it up with a conclusion, restating our thesis, and bringing it back home. Bringing you back to English 101 for those of you that remember. Jeep Sahara, how's it going? Oh, it came today? Nice, Kalis. Maybe we'll have to toast. Maybe we'll have to share a glass of rum. I mean, molasses tincture on the channel, because why not? Why not share with the homies? Hachi B, Autacia Flow, Pandora. Nice to see you, Pandora. I think you wrote me an email recently or something and I haven't gotten back to you yet. I'm super sorry. I promise. Promise I'll get there. Philip, how's it going? Nice to see you. Brandy, wonderful topic. I am she, the divine goddess tarot. Am I going to break down every law? No, but I already have broken down every law in short, compact videos on my YouTube channel. Just look up the Hermetic philosophy. I have a whole playlist. There's 7 or maybe 8 videos, and each one breaks down each of the principles of it. So okay, I'm going to actually read it to you guys. Hermetic law of cause and effect. So we'll do the typical read and breakdown as we normally do. As you guys know who've been following the channel for a while, I also have a book written on the Hermetic philosophy. It's called The 7 Pillars, A Handbook to Existence. The title is awfully audacious, I know, but it is what it is. So without further ado, unless we could ado a bit if you guys want. Should we let some... How much time are we into the live? Should we wait a couple minutes, get some more squad members in here? Could you guys all do me a solid and hit the like button for me so more people on my channel get the notification that we're live, because that's part of how it works. Thank you guys, I appreciate it. Thank you. Did the live freeze? Hopefully it didn't freeze. If you guys have any issues with the live, hit the refresh button. If that doesn't fix it, make yourself heard in the comment section, because if it's happening with a bunch of you guys, I gotta figure out what's going on. So we're gonna have to communicate amongst each other. Bummer. It's buffering. Agent Smith, thank you so goddamn much for keeping people up to date with my paraphernalia, my Patreon and my Etsy shop, and my cashapp for those of you that want to donate. Thank you, John Smith, I appreciate it. Okay, so oh man, Alchemy, the retreat was amazing. I'll talk about the retreat after this, I promise. We gotta get into the video, but it was amazing. It was super amazing. And we're gonna be holding them often because we hit it off, so if you missed it, don't worry about it. We will do plenty more. We'll be doing plenty more. So if everyone hit the like button, cool, dope. Let us begin. Causation. Law of cause and effect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another live here at Man of Letters. Welcome to the squad. I hope you decided to get comfy and take your shoes off. Stay a while. Maybe pour yourself a glass of wine. Roll up some oregano. Or just have a nice tasty glass of tea. Cup of tea. Have a tasty cup of tea. Thank you guys all for being here. Seriously, thank you guys for being here. I do not take your presence or attention lightly, because I know how much is out there to dive into. So thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you kindly. That being said, let us begin. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Oh, that's right. I was supposed to give you guys. So here's back to the introduction that I took forever to get to. So here's our premise of the entire video. There's law of the cause and effect. What that says is that a thing cannot rise above its source. Every effect has within it a piece of the cause. This idea we get from, or it lends from the law of correspondence, which says as above, so below. The material world matches the heavens. And the reason why is because the material world came from spirit. So thought was the origin. Spirit pervaded the material world to create the things we see. This microphone, what I'm calling Keith, what you are calling your name, the computer in front of me, etc. And all of these things are the effect of the original cause. And because all effects have a piece of the cause in them, they all follow a natural order of things, which is called the law of cause and effect. Now, there are two ways to view the law of cause and effect. You can either be the effect, or you can be the cause. neither one is bad, right? Actually, I take that back. What I should say is, deciding which one you want to be is the goal. Like, that's the intention, is to make a conscious decision on which one we want to be, whether it's the cause or the effect, because most people are effects and not causes. Most people are dictated and don't do much dictating. Most people lead and do not follow. Okay, with that being said, as people go throughout their lives, they create ripples in existence. They create causes. They create effects. Most people think that they are determined by their past. They say, I am a result of where I've been, which is true. You are a result from where you have been, but you are also the cause of what will be. Does that make sense? So you think of it as a boat traveling through the ocean. And as the boat goes forward, the wake of the boat stretches back into the distance. The present moment is that boat moving through time and space, creating wake. And the wake is the past. It's silly to say that the wake created the boat. Of course not. The boat created the wake. And that is a good vantage point to start when you want to recreate something. When something's already created, you can coast and kind of be a little bit more passive and go with the flow more. But if things aren't the way you want them to be, you sort of have to set an intent and sort of pull the material into existence. Which means you have to go into the causation role. You have to go into the cause role, not the effect role, so that you can be creating the past at the present moment. That, in a nutshell, is sort of what the law of causation is. Now we will begin to read the chapter. We'll read the chapter. If anything noteworthy stands out, we'll stop, talk about it. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. What can you do? Okay, let me... Royal Power, thank you. Thank you, Starborn. How do I get back, Toth? I don't know. I've been asking Toth the same thing. Toth, where you at? Where you been? How do we get back? Dragon Horizon. Nice to see a Q-tip. Kanik. Hello, Yesenia. Nice to see you. Welcome back. There's no link for the instrumental that I'm playing because I made it myself so that I made it myself so I wouldn't get hit with demonetization on my videos, because if I have copyright music playing, I can't monetize the videos, so I had to make my own. Hit me up if you guys want it. Okay, where are we at? Thank you so much again, the Royal Power, and thank you so much, Gianni Lauren. I appreciate the hell out of it, you guys. I wish I could keep going on about how much I appreciate it. I would if I didn't have to continue with the video. But that reminds me, let me plug my computer in before I forget again, and we lose the live. Because I've done that before, and it's not fun, especially when I'm killing it. Okay. I'm here, give me the keys. How about this? I'll give you... I'm not going to give you guys the keys, Royal Power. Here's what I will give you, though. What I will give you is a pretty solid tool belt so that you guys can build your own keys and your own doors, so that you have both the lock and the destination created by yourself. So you know exactly where you're going, and how to get there. At least I'll try. I know that's quite a bold statement, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, let's proceed. What do you guys say? Let's proceed. Also, everyone hit the like button so the notification can be broadcasted to more of the squad. Thanks. The great sixth Hermetic principle, the principle of cause and effect, embodies the truth that law pervades the universe, that nothing happens by chance, that chance is merely a term indicating cause existing but not recognized or perceived, that phenomena is continuous without break or exception. The principle of cause and effect underlies all scientific thought, ancient and modern, and was enunciated by the Hermetic teachers in the earliest days. While many and varied disputes between the many schools of thought have since arisen, these disputes have been principally upon the details of the operations of the principle, and still more often upon the meaning of certain words. The underlying principle of cause and effect has been accepted as the correct by practically all the thinkers of the world worthy of the name. By the way, I love how low-key gangster the kybalion is. It's all the underlying... Hold on. It says, the principle of cause and effect has been accepted as correct by practically all thinkers of the world worthy of the name. Side jab. To think otherwise would be to take the phenomena of the universe from the domain of law and order and to relegate it to the control of the imaginary something which men have called, quote-unquote, chance. A little consideration will show anyone that there is, in reality, no such thing as pure chance. Webster defines the word chance as follows: a supposed agent or mode of activity other than a force, law, or purpose. The operation or activity of such agent, the supposed effect of such an agent, a happening, fortuity, causality, etc. But a little consideration will show you that there can be no such agent as chance, in the sense of something outside law, something outside cause and effect. How could there be a something acting in the phenomenal universe independent of the laws of the order and continuity of the latter? Such a something would be entirely independent of the orderly trend of the universe and therefore superior to it. We can imagine nothing outside the all being outside of the law, and that only because the all is the law in itself. There is no room in the universe for a something outside of and independent of law. The existence of such a something would render all natural laws ineffective, and would plunge the universe into chaotic disorder and lawlessness. Now, there's something I want to clarify here before I get too much further in. I'm going to take some poetic justice here and sort of modernize this text. So far, this last paragraph has been super law and order, which is very strict, it's very masculine. And we know that there's just as much chaos as there is order. What it means to say is that nothing happens out. When he says law, he means the law of cause and effect, not pure law and order. Again, because we all know that there is such thing as chaos existing in our world. So obviously, things aren't always according to law. What it means is that all things are tied to all things, period. Like, you cannot have a thing that happens outside of things happening. You know what I mean? Because I know that's a weird way to put it, but think of the Fibonacci sequence, or pi, or the golden ratio. because even science is starting to see this, is starting to say this, is that things that math seems to replicate in nature across all different species, even across different kingdoms of organisms, even across mushrooms, plants, animals, even these three things all show, even with the stars, even with the way stars are developed and human communication happens, like there's so many things that replicate. And the reason why is because we all come from the same thing, and because we all come from the same thing, we all have that same thing inside of us. How could you not? That's what it's saying. That's the law. How could you not have a piece of the origin in you if you come from the origin? It's fucking silly. So with that being said, that's what it means by law. It strictly means that there's a continuity of life. Not that the only thing that ever exists is law. It's like it's super masculine. This was written in the early 1900s. It's a different lens back then, you know? Let's continue. Make sure everything over here is going well. Okay. A careful examination will show that what we call chance is merely an expression relating to obscure causes that we cannot perceive, causes that we cannot understand. The word chance is derived from a word meaning to fall, as in the falling of dice. The idea being that the fall of the dice and many other happenings are merely a happening, unrelated to any cause. And this is the sense in which the term is generally employed. But when the matter is closely examined, it is seen that there is no chance whatsoever about the fall of dice. Each time a die falls and displays a certain number, it obeys a law as infallible as that which governs the revolution of the planets around the sun. Back of the fall of the die are causes, or chains of causes, running back further than the mind can follow. The position of the die in the box, the amount of muscular energy expended in the throw, the condition of the table, all are causes, the effect of which may be seen. But back of these seen causes, there are chains of unseen preceding causes, all of which had a bearing upon the number of the die which fell uppermost. So we're talking, he's just giving, it's going to get into some shit. So basically it can be like, the fall of the die depends on the rotation of the planet, which has to do with gravity, which has to do with the sun, because the sun's gravity is pulling us in. And then all the planets in the solar system, because we're all tugging on each other via gravity. So all these causes, to a degree, influence the fall of the die that happened on the board. So it's just saying, again, that everything's tied into everything else. Let me see, where did we go? Okay, some confusion has arisen in the minds of persons considering this principle, from the fact that they were unable to explain how one thing could cause another thing, that is, be the creator of the second thing. As a matter of fact, no thing ever causes or creates another thing. Cause and effect deals merely with events. An event is that which comes, arrives, or happens as a result of consequent of some preceding event. No event creates another event, but is merely a preceding link in the great orderly chain of events, following from the creative energy of the all. You might be able to skip the rest of this paragraph. It's kind of just beating the dead horse at this point. Yeah, we can skip that. Just continues to push the idea of continuity. Okay, we do not wish to enter into a consideration of free will or determinism in this work for various reasons. Among the many reasons is the principal one that neither side of the controversy is entirely right. In fact, both sides are partially right, according to the Hermetic teachings. The principle of polarity shows that both are but half-truths opposing. The law of polarity shows that both are but half-truths, the opposing poles of truth. The teaching are that a man may be both free and yet bound by necessity, depending upon the meaning of the terms and the height of truth from which the matter is examined. Crucial. This is crucial. This is one thing I didn't really pick up the first time I read this, or the first 5 times I read this. But it says, in talking about polarity, how two opposites are the same to varying degree, it says, the height of truth from which the matter is examined depends on whether it's the positive or the negative side of the pole. Because you know how they say all things are relative, which is a very dangerous conversation to have that I see a lot in the spiritual community, is that there's no such thing as good or bad, and that's just the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. To blatantly say 100% of the time there's no such thing as good or bad is just not a lie, it's just a huge misinterpretation of the law. And the law isn't there's no such thing as good or bad. The law should be stated all things have the capacity to be good or bad, depending upon the height of truth from which the matter is examined. Meaning to say, objectively speaking, each microcosm has an objective truth to it. I'll give you an example. If I want to grow my YouTube channel, should I make more videos or should I make less videos? Obviously, the answer is make more videos. So if my goal, my highest truth in this situation is to grow my YouTube channel, it is a objectively speaking good thing to make more videos. It is an objectively speaking bad thing to make less videos. You see what I'm saying? So each decision, there is an objective, there is a concrete good or bad. And at the same time, on the macrocosm, situations can be both good and bad at the same time. This is what we learn about the law of polarity, and that all truths are but half-truths, again, depending upon the height of the truth from which the matter is examined. The ancient writers express the matter as thus: the further the creation is from the center, the more it is bound. The nearer the center it reaches, the nearer free it is. I'm going to read that one more time, slow motion, I forget how the saying goes. The ancient writers express the matter as thus: the further the creation is from the center, the more it is bound. The nearer the center it reaches, the nearer free it is. Check this out. I'll give you a great example how to wrap your head around that last line in terms of looking at the physical world, so you can sort of see what they mean by that. The more you are bound, the further from source you are. Think about the sun. You have the sun, which is, say the sun is the source. In a sense, it is source, because the sun manufactures the elements that make up life. So the sun is doing its thing. Bam, helium. Bam, it's slamming whatever comes after helium. I can't remember. Hydrogen, oxygen. I don't know. I can't remember. But the sun's manufacturing elements. Boom, explodes. Now all these elements that it manufactured in its core get spit out all over space, and they start condensing into planets, into other stars, into asteroids and shit. These planets are made up of all the elements. Now we have a sun blows up, boom, you have Earth coalescing. So now you have lava, you have rocks. These rocks somehow start to form single-celled organisms. And then these single-celled organisms become multi-celled organisms. And then these multi-celled organisms start photosynthesizing. They start capturing light from the sun, and then they start producing O2, something we call breathable oxygen. Now you have plants. Now you have animals. Life continues to evolve into humanity. Now the stars that start off as stars creating single elements in its core has along the line created humanities with the capacity to think about the stars that created us in the first place. This shit's crazy, right? That's how complex we've become. But also, we've become so complex that we, as a human, you can't be anything else. See, if you look at this, go back to the sun, closer to source, the sun could become anything. The sun explodes, becomes the water, becomes you, becomes me, becomes the thoughts we're having, becomes the oceans we swim in. But the further away from source you go, the more complex you get, the more you're bound by that complexity, the more you're bound by your form. So that's what that was what was going on in that last one. That was a huge. I blacked out. We still good on everything? Can you guys still hear me? We still. Nothing weird going on? Not missing anything. Okay. All right. Didn't miss anything in the chat room. Let us proceed. No, we already read that. The majority of people are more or less the slaves of heredity, of environment, etc., and manifest very little freedom. They are swayed by the opinions, customs, and thoughts of the outside world, and also by their emotions, feelings, moods, etc. They manifest no mastery worthy of the name. They indignantly repudiate this assertion, saying, "Why, I certainly am free to act and do as I please. I do just what I want to do." But they fail to explain whence arise the want to and as I please. What makes them want to do one thing in preferences to another? What makes them please to do this and not do that? Is there no because to their pleasing and wanting? The master can change these pleases and wants into others at the opposite end of the mental pole. He is able to will to do it, instead of to will because some feeling, mood, emotion, or environmental suggestion arouses a tendency or desire within him to do so. And this is some next level. Yo, the kybalion is dropping bombs right now. The kybalion is dropping bombs over Baghdad right now. Outcast would be proud. Bombs over, but dang, unless you plan to hit something, bombs over Baghdad. All right, so you want to do something, but it's saying our wants are attached. What makes you want? What pleases you to do something? Well, it pleases you to do something because you like the mood that it puts you in. You like to drink that beer because it tastes good and you like the buzz. You want to sip on that whiskey because it makes you feel cool and puts you in a nice sort of ambiance. Right? But that's you still being the effect. That's not you being the cause. You think you're acting out of your will, but the want is coming from something outside of yourself. The emotion that you get from it, the feeling you get from it, or the opinions of others, right? But the master does something because he does something. The master does something because she does something. Not for any other reason. So check this out. Here's an interesting. Hold on, let this gentleman pass through. An interesting exercise. This works really good for people who have a tendency to be too passive. The yes man of the bunch. Oh yeah, of course, sure, yeah, like the nice guy, the pushover. Here's a good exercise for that person. Try to give it a shot for a week or so. If say yes if you want to say yes, but if there's something that you actually want to say no to, say no, and don't give a reason. Because here's what happens when a person that always says yes tells someone no, especially when that person that is asking assumes that you're going to say yes because you're a yes person, and that happens most of the time. They'll be taken aback. Like, no? What do you mean? No? Why not? Like, what? Why not? Don't give them a reason. The reason why they're asking why not is because they want to rebuttal you. First of all, they don't care what the reason is. They just want you to give any reason so that they can say you're wrong and I'm right. But don't give them the chance. Don't give them. What you say is, because I chose to. Hey, can you do this for me? No. Why not? I don't want to. Why don't you want to? Because I don't want to. Period. Because I choose not to. There is no want. There's nothing outside of the decision I have made to not do something. I don't have to give you a reason. I don't have to defend myself. I don't have to plead with you to accept the things that I'm doing. Please, that's all you're doing when you're giving a reason. You're saying, please accept, please forgive me. Please accept that this excuse is good enough for you, so that I can say no to something, instead of no because I said no, and that's why. Suck it. It's something called Landmark that I was taking. They talked about this a lot. It's a good tool, and you see it in action, and you hear stories of people doing it. Movies do this a lot too. If you watch Hollywood slips in a lot of truths right there. But you see that a lot. That's a huge character development move in the majority of movies, is the pushover that finally stands up for himself, and then he stands up for himself, and everyone's almost offended that this person is finally standing up for themselves. And it's like it's an age-old tale, but that's what's going on essentially. That's part of choosing to be the cause instead of being the effect. Is you're dictating things now. You're acting as something that's sending ripples out into the future instead of constantly being on the other end. But at the same time, effects are causes and causes are effects, and there's actually no such thing as a cause and effect, because there was only one original cause, and that was the original thought. But that's a completely different conversation, because some friends become enemies, and because some enemies become friends. Let's just read the last couple paragraphs, shall we? The majority of people are carried along like the falling stone, obedient to the environment, outside influences, and internal moods, desires, not to speak of the desires and wills of others stronger than themselves, heredity, environment, suggestion, carrying them along without resistance on their part, or the exercise of the will. Moved like the pawns on the checkerboard of life, they play their parts and are laid aside after the game is over. But the masters, knowing the rules of the game, rise above the plane of material life, and placing themselves in touch with the higher powers of their nature, dominate their own moods, characters, qualities, and polarity, as well as the environment surrounding them, and thus become movers in the game, instead of pawns, causes instead of effects. The masters do not escape the causation of the higher planes, but fall in with the higher laws, and thus master circumstances on the lower plane. They thus form a conscious part of the law instead of being mere blind instruments. While they serve on the higher planes, they rule on the material plane. Let those with ears. But on the higher and on the lower, the law is always in operation. There is no such thing as chance. The blind goddess has been abolished by reason. We are able to see now, with eyes made clear by knowledge, that everything is governed by universal law, that the infinite number of laws are but manifestations of the one great law, the law, which is the all. It is true indeed that not a sparrow drops unnoticed by the mind of the all, that even the hairs on our head are numbered. As the scriptures have said, there is nothing outside of law, nothing that happens contrary to it, and yet do not make the mistake of supposing that man is but a blind automaton. Far from that. The Hermetic teachings are that man may use law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevail against the lower, until at last he has reached the stage in which he seeks refuge in law itself, and laughs the phenomenal laws to scorn. Are you able to grasp the inner meaning of this? End scene. Woo! The bottom of the michelada is always the best. Where are we at? Kalis, it's like a little kid playing make-believe. On it knows the rules, even if they haven't made the rule yet. I'm misreading your comment. I'm gonna try and read you guys' comments. So give me a second to get my space time to this. Butterflies make tornado. That's sort of the idea we're getting at. Yeah. Sage and Stone. That's a new name. Introduce yourself, Sage and Stone. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. Everyone say hi to Sage and Stone if they are still here. Kalis, good night. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, thanks to this. Oh, okay. Cool. Saying no all the time could miss opportunity. Dragon Horizon 89. We should all look at that comment, because that's the comment Dragon Horizon 89 made is the biggest is where the trap begins. So I'm gonna read his comment. You guys gotta pay attention because this is really important. He said, "Saying no all the time could miss opportunity." The law, what I was saying, and what the law is saying, was absolutely not to say no all the time. But I said at the beginning of that was, if you mean to say no, then say no. If you mean to say yes, then say yes. The idea is, most of us do things against what we want to do because we're pressured into them. That's why I was bringing up the peer pressure thing. Remember how I was saying earlier that each and every situation has an objective truth to it, and you find that truth depending upon the highest version of it that you have at hand. And we sort of only know that when we know the goal, like when we have a direction in life. Having a direction gives you a hierarchy of decisions. Having a direction means it gives yes and no value. Because if someone asks you to do something and it goes against your highest truth, then you say no. And if you don't know what your highest truth is, then of course no and yes have no value. They have no meaning. It doesn't matter what you do. You're completely up to fucking chance, or not chance. You leave yourself as an effect, right? If you don't have a goal, in other words, which isn't always bad. Again, it isn't always bad. What I'm trying to teach you guys is to know yourself. It's to know what you want out of life so that you know when to say no sincerely, and so that you know when to say yes sincerely. It's not about always saying yes. It's not about always saying no. It's about knowing what the hell you want, so when you do say yes or no, you mean it, and you don't have to explain yourself for it. That's what I'm getting at. I don't mean to say if you say no all the time. Of course, if you say no all the time, you're going to miss out on experiences. And if you say no all the time, you're just a jackass and a fool, because who says no all the time? Like, that's just someone that's acting out of spite, and that's not... Acting out of spite is not a way to go. You know what I mean? So that... Be careful. I try to never speak in ultimatums. I try. Of course, there's always an exception to the rule. Like this, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I try not to speak in ultimatums. You should never always do something, period. You should never always not do something. You know what I mean? It's kind of catch-22. I get that, because I'm telling you to never trust something 100%, which is like committing to something 100%. But within reason, you know what I mean? Like, be logical about this. Because there is always an exception. So anyone that tells you that this is what you have to do, period, to reach enlightenment, then I would take heed in what they're saying. If anyone says, this is the way, and only this way, and if you do this 100% of the time, you're free, and if you don't do it 100% of the time, then you're fucked. Those philosophies you need to be careful with. I'm not saying don't believe them, I'm saying just be careful with them. That's it, just be careful with them. Yeah. I've always been a yes man. I always wanted to make everyone happy, so I would agree to everything to do that. Been learning to say no over the past couple of years. Especially from someone like you, Agent Smith. And then there's people who you always say yes. There's people who always say no all the time, and like want to stay in their comfy little bubble and just want to don't want to be bothered. And those are the people that need to learn how to say yes. Someone just mentioned balance in the comment section. That's exactly it. It's balance. You know what I mean? Truth is balance. Which is why it's so important to know what the hell you want, because that's what your truth is. So sort of your truth, your personal truth, is sort of a combination of your highest, purest, sincerest intention, most genuine desire that sort of satisfies, a sense of serving other people, because that's a part of our happiness comes from serving others. Part of it is serving ourselves. And then the third, I guess, is just the satisfaction you get out of doing a thing. It's like, am I taking care of myself? Yes. Do I get a chance to take care of others? Yes. Do I enjoy what I'm doing? Yes. Okay, so that's loosely your highest truth. You know what I mean? And as long as you set your sights on that, then that's what I'm getting at, is your yeses and nos become more genuine if your light at the end of the tunnel is your highest truth. And of course, your highest truth can change. That's not like a concrete thing. Sometimes you in your 20s, you have a desire for something. In your 30s, you have a shift. In your 40s, you have a shift. In your 50s, you have a shift. Of course, it changes. It's not written in stone or anything. But, yeah. Keith, this is a perfect topic for what is currently happening right now. Knowing when to say no is going to be and is so important right now, definitely. If you've seen Yes Man, Jim Carrey, that's what I'm honestly talking about. I have seen Yes Man, and I loved that movie when I first watched it, but the more older I got, I was like, he said yes to everything. And it's Hollywood. You gotta be careful with Hollywood, man. I'm low-key convinced that Hollywood released Yes Man in order to get people more compliant, to give them that sort of feel-good. I'm gonna say yes to everything. Like, yeah, you want me to do something? Yes. Like, the government, you want me to do something? Yes. All right, everything's gonna work out for the best, right? Yeah. Yes. You get a yes. You get a yes. You get a yes. I'm gonna get the girl in the end. I'm gonna get the money. I'm gonna get the perfect job. I'm just gonna say yes to everything. So says Yes Man via Hollywood, one of the most corrupt institutions out there. You know what I mean? So yes, I've seen Yes Man. I know what you're getting at, but I still can't. I still can't. Your truth is your truth. Don't let me convince you, because topic is obviously somewhat subjective, and I'm speaking from my reference, my point of view. So if that resonates with you, then by all means, like, do you, boo boo. Seriously, you do you. But for me, that's all I'm saying is it was almost, because I lean towards John Smith. I lean towards being a yes man. So seeing that movie and then having a decade to process it and learn more about how propaganda works and how TV works and how mind control works and peer pressure works, I'm almost like that's silly. Like, why would I say yes to absolutely everything? Because I saw one movie that was a feel-good movie and had cool music playing in the background and had our favorite Jim Carrey was the main actor. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, get the fuck out of here. I'm not gonna say yes to everything. I'd be a fool to say yes to everything. I can't do it. So I don't. Sorry if I'm hating on your parade, Dragon Horizon, but I had to get that out. Because I know what you're talking about, and it's funny that you mentioned that movie, because that's what I was thinking about in my head when I was talking about that the whole time, because I think about the movie Yes Man all the time. And I still go back and forth on it, like, oh, maybe you should be a yes man. Maybe you should take more chances and take more risks, and maybe you are afraid of life and you need to, like, be bold and step out of your comfort zone. Which is half the story, right? It's half of the truth, and the other half is, no, don't say yes to everything. Like, and that's maybe this. I'm right and I'm wrong. How about that? We'll settle somewhere in the middle, and we'll say this. We'll go back to the movie, because that's a good reference. That's a good example. Jim Carrey was sort of was stuck. We'll say that the character of Jim Carrey in Yes Man was stuck. He was stuck mentally. He was stuck in his finances and his career. He was like he was like an NPC practically. Met this woman, changed his whole perspective, started saying yes to everything, and it transformed his life. Jim Carrey had an arbitrary goal in life. It was nothing substantial. He wasn't necessarily serving a greater good. He wasn't necessarily being fulfilled, obviously, because we learned later on in the movie that the change he underwent showed him how unfulfilled he was, which meant he had no direction in his life. Jim Carrey in that movie had no true, genuine, sincere intention of expanding himself as a human, as a soul, as a spirit, as an emotional body, and therefore he could say yes to anything and everything. And because it was so contrary to his regular vibe, it sort of shook his world up. So we'll say that I'm wrong and you're right, that it was good in that movie for him to say yes to everything. But after that, if that movie would have continued, he would have had a goal. He would have eventually had an intention to be something, or to create something, or to manifest something. Say his relationship. We'll continue the movie because the movie was he got this wonderful relationship with this woman, this amazing woman, and I'm assuming he wants to maintain that relationship with this woman because that relationship with this woman brought about this phenomenal positive change for him. So now he's got to maintain that. For example, he can't go around smashing hoes, you know what I mean? Because then he'll lose the relationship for the women. So he's not going to say yes to another offer from a woman, right? Because he wants to maintain his relationship. If he starts a business and someone asks him to do like 10 things that are going to infringe upon his business idea and he's going to lose time and lose his business, he's probably not going to say yes because now he has a new goal, you know what I mean? There's variation in between, like, of course, it's not going to manifest exactly as we want it. We don't have to be complete sticklers. Like, he could take on a load from someone else and fail in his business but get an opportunity to create an even bigger business. Like, I'm not saying that's out of the realm of possibility, but we have to have a star that we're looking at, you know what I mean? Again, because then we don't know what's right and what's wrong. We don't have a code to live by. But yeah, I aspire to such elegance while in reality, yes, is how I appear. Nice. Well then fucking slay that shit, man. Nice. I like that. That's conviction. That's you. That's your truth as you should live it, day in, day out. I like that. I like it a lot. Well said, Dragon Horizon. Obama. Hey, Bree, how's it going? Nice to see you. Question is how to find balance. I don't know. How about no? You crazy Dutch bastard. Trust the all. Is that a question or a statement? I don't know if you need to trust the all. I don't know if the all needs to be trusted. I think the all just is. I don't think the all needs anything. What you just read sounds like scripture. Thank you, B-girl. Thank you kindly. Hachi B, well said. Yin exists in the yang, yang exists in the yin. My thoughts about Inception. I've only seen Inception once, you guys, and I saw it when it first came out in the movies. It was an awesome movie. I was thoroughly entertained, and there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things going on in that movie. I need to watch it again, and I'll report back, but I can't. I can't recall. I feel like I'd have to watch that movie 5 times before I could make a video on it. Bear. Accept your demons, laws, faults as friends and learn from them. Nothing here can actually hurt you. Well said. Nothing here can actually hurt you. Belle Rodriguez, how's it going? Nice to see you. Sorry, that was a statement. Skincare routine. Hey, Belle, what's part of your skincare routine? Everyone, we're going to join Belle's skincare routine. Everyone send out good vibes for Belle so that we can just transmute some power, some Belle power. What up, Daimon, the artist? Alchemy. Just made this super potent parasite cleanse tea. Nice. You know it's a super potent parasite cleanse is slamming some food grade hydrogen peroxide. Nothing of what I've been said has been evaluated by the FDA and is not intended to cure, treat, or prevent any diseases. Speak with your medical practitioner before deciding to add any supplements into your diet. With that being said, food grade hydrogen peroxide 35% that you can get online is a dream for detox. Your body produces hydrogen peroxide naturally. It's a natural resistance to disease and parasite, whatnot. It's bacteria and parasites, funguses. Those fungis. Shargeen, how's it going, brother? Everyone say hello to Shargeen. And if you guys have Alchemy, Shargeen's your boy, you guys should link up. Shargeen Alchemy has his own online shop, and he's trying to make some moves. So if you are looking for a... what would you be considered, Shargeen? A web developer or a website developer? He creates websites, so if you need to contract yourself some solid website creation, hit up Shargeen. You guys or any of you guys. Butchered that. The all reminds me of that movie Zoolander too. It was a androgynous model. His name was All. Well, yeah. What's your IG? My IG? My IG is Man of Letters Co. No, that's my Etsy. My bad. Man of Letters Official. I didn't want to be that guy who puts official after his name, but there's already a Man of Letters out there. There's a bunch of them, and so it was the only thing I could do that without making Man of Letters super ridiculous. But yeah, that's my Instagram, Man of Letters Official, and Yeah, but you're welcome, Alchemy. Definitely want to keep business within the community. I think I'm gonna end this live, you guys. I met some and do another live right after this. I met someone out in Colorado. I didn't meet him in Colorado. I found his YouTube channel. He lives in Colorado. Spoke with him on the phone before the live. He's on some next level. He's about the Hermetics and kybalion. Does he does nature immersion retreats out in Colorado, which is super dope. And you might come on the live and just chat, just have a little podcast style, ring a dink, little schmicker schmackle, little sping, bada spoon, bada bing, bada boom. You know what I mean? There was a famous philosopher, German, can't spell his name, killed himself after studying esoteric knowledge. So you're saying esoteric knowledge made him kill himself? Because we all know that there's some branches of esoteric knowledge that could definitely get you caught up in some demons that you ain't supposed to be caught up in. So for sure, I can see something like that happen. Y'all gotta be careful out there. You know what I mean? Are there good things out there? Yes. Are there bad things out there? Yes. Are there things out there that intend to harm you? Probably. Are there things out there that intend to help you? Probably. Like, you know what I mean? Just be discerning out there. You know what I mean? I feel like our squad is somewhat of a, I don't want to say advanced, but sort of a sidestep to your average spiritually philosophical gang. You know what I mean? We feel like we operate a little more discernment than most. If I may say, hopefully that doesn't come out weird. But anywho, that being said, yeah, who would that be? I'd like to check that out too. Whom whom would that be? Nice. I think that's the first time I've ever used that word properly. Bree, how tragic. That's funny. Sorry. I mean, it is tragic, but the way you said it was almost like there was a philosopher, a German one, who killed himself after studying esoteric knowledge. How tragic. It's like a movie or something. Anywho, you guys want to run a live? You guys feel like running a live after this? And I'm also hungry. I could not do shit for the rest of the night. I might do that too. I might not go live. I'm not sure. I'm kind of tired. It's been a long weekend. The plant medicine retreat this weekend was phenomenal, you guys. Oh my goodness. I didn't dive too deep myself. I was too worried about playing host. And I'm happy I did. I'm happy I was just able to play good host for the weekend and just focus on that. And but some people had some pretty amazing experiences. It looks like the last conversation we had, unless something changes, that we will be doing these monthly. So I'm in, technically it's Central California, Northern Santa Barbara County, plant medicine retreats. And they will be combo, sacred toad, some plants here and there, some plants there and here, some breakthroughs, some tapping in, some dialing in. If you guys are interested, hit me up. Shoot me an email or something. And but yeah, it was dope. Killed it. So we're making serious moves. I'm putting a goddamn pyramid and a geodesic dome on this piece of land. I have 10 acres of land. It's more than enough space to put in a geodesic dome and a pyramid to the specs of the one in Egypt. To the specs of the one in Egypt. And now we have a steady flow of income coming. We got people with the same mindset, same caliber of resonance. We're speaking things into existence these days. That's the key. That's the key. Was a German poet, dramatist, novelist, short story writer, and journalist. Bernd Heinrich Wilhelm von Kleist. October 1777, the 21st of November, 1811. Oh man, I smell the food. It smells so good over there. Oh man. Any questions? You guys have any questions or want to go over anything? Is there anything going on? I think I should be aware of. I saw that I had some Cash App donations from the squad. Let me see. Thank you guys. I do appreciate the I do love the ass app. I do love the Cash App donations because I don't get taxed. YouTube takes like half the booty of all my ad revenue, the bastards. So thank you guys. They do decide to go Cash App for the donations. But either way, thank you. Like, even if you're doing the regular ones, hell yeah, shout out. Super Chat. If Super Chat's where you're at, then you can find me, Fat Cat, down the street. What up? I'm super down. Just do your thing, boo-boo. It's your world. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. That's it. That's all. No more, no less. You know what I mean? No more, no less. Shelly Meyer, thank you so much for the donation. Shelly Meyer, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sprinkle, is that what Sheer says? Of course, it's what a Sheer says. Is that what a Sheer says? Sprinkle is what a Sheer says. I will never see a super chat in my life again and not think the words sprinkle. She has incepted me. That's what I think about Inception. I think what you guys want. Hey Keith, what do you think about the movie Inception? You want to know what I think about the movie Inception? I think that Ashir has incepted me to think sprinkle all the time for super chat. Nah. I just tried like 10 times. Am I doing it wrong? I don't know. Maybe. Hey, Nessa. I didn't know you were in the room. You been here a while? Why didn't you say hello? Hello, Nessa. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Where are we at? Maria Weingestelen. Oh wait, what happened? Something popped up. I thought I saw something pop up. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't get any Cash App donations. I thought I got a Cash App donation. Maybe not. Anywho, I think that's it. I think everyone was. Oh, we're good right now. So if I see you in a couple seconds, I'm going to see what's cooking inside. If there's something really good cooking, I probably won't come back outside for the live. Exceptionally good cooking. Oh, it came through PayPal, that's why. Just kidding. PayPal is available too. Thanks, you guys. Zip it up. See you guys tomorrow, alright? Good night.